We live in an era of remarkable convenience and capital. Average salaries are higher today than at almost any point in history, and technology has streamlined everything from how we work to how we invest. Yet, a strange phenomenon is happening across the country. A growing demographic of people are taking home six-figure salaries and still finding themselves completely tapped out by the end of the month. This chart tracks median household income against consumer debt. We see a steady climb in wages. Look at this exploding line for consumer debt. We are earning more money, but borrowing at a pace that dwarfs those income gains. It forces a massive question. If our paychecks are larger than they've ever been, why do so many of us feel like we're constantly on the verge of going broke? Finding the answer requires looking past the balance sheet and investigating a specific flaw in our own financial psychology. To understand why we feel so strapped today, we have to look at the blueprint we inherited. 60 years ago, the formula for a successful life was entirely straightforward. Step 1, go to college. You paid a modest tuition, often covered entirely by a part-time summer job, and walked away with a degree. Step 2, find a solid corporate gig. You spent 30 years clocking in at the same desk, and that single income was usually enough to support an entire household. And step 3 was the finish line. You retired at 65, supported by a reliable company pension that guaranteed you wouldn't outlive your money. Now, look at this bar chart comparing housing costs to average incomes. In the 1980s, housing required a manageable fraction of a family's earnings. Today, that ratio has severely disconnected, meaning the cost of a home has vastly outpaced the actual wages people bring in. Add in the modern requirement of higher education, and young adults are now entering the workforce tens of thousands of dollars in the red before they even collect their first real paycheck. The baseline math of the 20th century American dream is objectively broken. That serves as a valid alibi for why survival feels mathematically harder than it was for previous generations. These external economic pressures collide with an internal force, our psychological response to a dream that feels increasingly out of reach. This collision creates a trap called lifestyle inflation. It is the phenomenon where every time your salary increases, your baseline expectations for living increase right alongside it. The extra money you make is instantly absorbed by new, higher expenses. Digital social comparison accelerates this process. When everyone online seems to be upgrading their lives, keeping your expenses flat starts to feel like falling behind. People buy the signals of wealth to mask their financial insecurity. Designer bags and premium brands become quick, accessible ways to project success, even if the bank account doesn't actually match the aesthetic. High earners often scale this trap by taking on a luxury car lease or a massive mortgage. They lock themselves into high monthly payments just to project an aura of success. When even a high salary isn't enough to cover this reality, plastic bridges the gap. A stack of credit cards transforms a high income into a cycle of revolving debt. A larger paycheck does not create wealth if every extra dollar is spent funding a status-driven facade. Surviving this economy requires a mindset shift that prioritizes long-term resilience over immediate status. A sustainable path forward replaces the pursuit of material status symbols with the pursuit of tangible options. This Venn diagram breaks down the 3 pillars of modern freedom: carrying zero consumer debt, having the time autonomy to choose your work, and maintaining a solid buffer of emergency security. Where these 3 intersect, you find actual independence. Real wealth in the 21st century is remarkably quiet. It is defined entirely by the money you purposely choose not to spend. The escape plan begins with a strict boundary. The next time your income goes up, your lifestyle stays exactly where it is. Prioritize your net worth, your assets minus your liabilities. Set up systems where new income flows directly into investments, bypassing your daily spending account. Forcing money into assets builds your emergency buffer naturally. Over time, these investment returns grow to overwhelm any remaining liabilities. The American dream has shifted toward a new, invisible standard, one where lasting independence belongs to those who stop chasing appearances and start building financial freedom.